What is up, fellow league mates of the Fouts Dynasty League? There's our fearless leader over there, our incumbent champion, and he has already handed off the belt, and we've got a new guy in the proverbial White House. So what's up, Brett? Congratulations. So we're here to talk through our mock draft of the first round of the 2021 Fouts Dynasty League rookie draft. And man, I'm stoked. I've been getting more and more excited with every week that we get closer, and I bet you guys are as well.
I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be back in the official draft room for the FDL. Getting back into the double tree and our spot in the 19th floor is going to be super exciting. I can't wait for next week. I'm really, really pumped.
Be sweet.
So guys, without any further ado, I think should we go ahead and kick it off with pick 101? And let's see. I think who's talking about this first one? Is it me and Jarrett?
That's correct. Yep.
All right. Well, Jarrett, what do you think? What do you think Josh is going to do? This is probably a little painful for you since this pick came from him or from you, correct?
Oh, you had to remind me.
Well, I mean, you do have Cook on your roster now.
You've
got Cook on your roster now, so it's only fitting that you and I get to talk about what Josh is going to do with this pick with 101. And what do you think? What are your thoughts on this pick, Jarrett?
He definitely wants to get the best running back that's out there, which is Najee Harris for the Steelers. Kind of a consensus pick. I don't think he's going to let Najee slip from the 1-1. He's got the great spot there, so I think Josh just locks it in, gets him all he can.
Yeah, I think it just makes too much sense. I mean, he lost a lot of production with trading Dalvin Cook away, so he wants to replace that right away. Najee is really the only one in this draft class that's just stepping into like first running back bell cow type production. It looks like that ETN and Williams are going to be sharing the backfield a lot more with the other backs that are back there. So Harris just makes all the sense in the world, and so yeah, we're assuming that Josh is going Harris with that 101.
If he doesn't, he'll throw the whole draft off. So
right. If he doesn't, we're just throwing this whole thing out.
Yeah.
Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
Well, I think that Josh guy sounds like a really smart guy with that #1 pick. We'll move into pick number 2. Andrew and I are discussing Bob Kidd's got the 2nd overall pick. It's a cool draft because the Money Ballers have pick 1 and 3, and then Bob Kidd's has 2 and 4. So it's some weird cat and mouse right there. So number 2 overall, Andrew, where do you think Bob's going to go with the number 2 pick?
This is an interesting position that he's in. Like you say, he's got 2 and 4 in the first round. So obviously he's got needs at tight end, significant needs. So a guy like Kyle Pitts is certainly really enticing. But if you look at the overall expected value of the players, he might get a guy like ETN. So I think the reason I think he's might go with Pitts here is because he wants to make sure he gets him. I feel like he would risk maybe losing Pitts at 3 if he waits till 4. So I think in his position, he probably wants to get a tight end and a running back here. ETN being in Jacksonville, that's obviously he's going to get his carries, he's going to get his receptions. But we've talked about how Kyle Pitts could be like a generational talent at tight end. So I think he might stretch to get him at 1-2 personally. What do you think?
I think it's a smart move to grab him at 2. To guarantee that he's going to be there at pick 4, that he gets past the Money Ballers at pick 3 is kind of a risky gamble. Traditionally the Money Ballers have collected tight ends like they're collecting baseball cards. So I just think that this is a spot. If you want to get this guy, you almost have to take him at 2. But I think it's a great pick. I mean, generational talent for sure. So I mean, it might be a reach, but you're getting the top tight end, right?
And let's not forget that Josh did try to trade back from 3. He was fielding offers if anybody wanted to trade up to 3. So if Pitts is still there at 3, even if Josh doesn't want to take Pitts, if Pitts slides to 3, I guarantee you Josh is throwing out to the room, hey, Pitts is still here. If anybody really wants him, come up and get him.
Mhm.
And so I think that doubly makes sense because he doesn't have to just worry about getting past Josh at 3, but getting past the rest of the room at 3 if he's still there.
Yeah, I think all eyes are on Pitts, so seeing him go this early would be no surprise at all. So yeah, let's lock it in. Pick number 1, Najee Harris. Pick number 2 to Bob, Kyle Pitts. This is going to take us into pick 3. And Andrew and Jarrett, you guys have got the floor here for the Moneyballer's second pick, first round.
Okay. Well, Jared, my take on this is I think he's going to go with Jamar Chase. Chase was a teammate with Joe Burrow at LSU. Now they're teammates in Cincinnati. They have that chemistry, and just Chase by himself is just I think he's the number 1 receiver on the board, and all the pundits kind of say that. And when he was at LSU, he played with Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson was considered an understudy of sorts to Chase. And you saw how great Jefferson was last year with the Vikings. So it seems like Jamar Chase is really the guy to get here. What do you say?
Yeah, I'll just echo everything you said there. He comes in with that built-in chemistry with Joe Burrow, I think, and the Bengals went with him pretty highly, so they're not going to set him on the sidelines. I think he's going to get some production. I think Josh gets a lot of value out of him if he picks him here. So I definitely agree with that take.
Okay. I say we lock in Chase at 1-3.
We got the top running back, top tight end, and top wide receiver all off the board, the top 3 picks. Jared, you and I are going to discuss Bob getting the second pick in the first round, pick number 4 overall. Where do you see Bob going with this pick?
Well, I would say if he gets tight end locked in with that first pick, then one of his other team needs is running back. As you mentioned around pick 2, that he might be tempted by ETN. And if ETN is still here at 4, I think it makes a whole lot of sense, both for his team needs and as far as the talent that's available there. The only wrench that I could see, the only curveball that I could see maybe happening is if there's been enough rumblings as far as concern regarding ETN and the way they're already using him down at rookie mini camp down in Jacksonville versus Javonte Williams. And, I would say there's 3 clear-cut top tier running backs. And the only curveball might be if there's enough of concern with ETN in Jacksonville that he might pivot to another running back that he might see as just a little more secure.
Right. I got to agree. I think ETN's the pick here. I know he's going to lose some touches to Tim Tebow this season, but I just being the clear-cut running back number 2.
Speaking of you collecting tight ends.
Right. Yeah. So I gotta say, I think ETN. There's a lot of hubbub about the James Robinson still being a factor, Carlos Hyde still being a factor. When you draft a guy at 25 overall in the NFL draft, you plan on playing him. And so if he's like he had 4 years at Clemson, he did a lot of running there. So if we want to run him with wide receivers for a little bit for practice, I just see an Alvin Kamara type future for this kid. And so I think if he makes it to 4, I mean that's. Most years that guy's going to be an easy number 2 overall pick, but to see a couple guys go in front of him, I just think ETN at 4 is a no-brainer. I love this pick, ETN at 4. So pick number 5 is moving on to Stephon Diggs. Jared
and I have to admit, I just got that play on words. I did not know what he was referencing until just now. That's a Stephon Diggs joke.
Pretty good one. It's actually pretty good.
I just got it. Little slow sometimes.
Yeah.
So Jared, what do you think?
Well, just looking at Andrew's team, a little thin at running back. Probably Clyde Edwards-Helaire is his best guy so far. He definitely wants to stock up, I think. And we've still got Javonte Williams on the board. For Denver, I think this is a solid spot to pick that up. This is Andrew's only pick in the first round. So I think he's going to want to shore up, get the best running back he can. I think he goes with Javonte Williams here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but I do know a couple months ago, he and I were talking about a possible trade with Aaron Rodgers. And then he went and he was able to pick up, I'm drawing a blank. Who'd you trade for?
Stafford.
Yeah, that's right. Matt Stafford. And so maybe not feeling quite as much of a pinch there at his quarterback position anymore as he was a couple of months ago. And so for that reason, yeah, I think running back makes a lot of sense. And like we said with the last pick, there's really 3 clear-cut running backs that are at a tier to themselves at the top of this draft. And he's the last one in that tier.
Yeah.
So I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go that direction.
I agree.
All right, that's great. So we've got, just to recap, the first 5 picks: Najee Harris, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Travis Etienne, and now Javonte Williams all off the board.
Which is really pretty chalk so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a consensus top 5 guys.
Almost like everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? So pick number 6 here. This is Yo Mahomes. Smell me later. Smell you later. Andrew and I are going to discuss where Jared Totten's going to go with number 6 overall. Can you talk about a quarterback pick? Oh, Andrew, where do you think he's going with pick number 6?
Oh my goodness. Well, you and I have talked a lot about this. If you really want to reach for a quarterback this high in the draft, you better hope that he's a generational talent like you saw with Andrew Luck a decade ago, kind of thing. And certainly Jared has needs at quarterback right now. He's got Aaron Rodgers, he's got Deshaun Watson, but both of them are in trade and other issues right now. So they're kind of up in the air for both of them. So I think Jared really wants to feel like he has that next solid quarterback for years to come. So part of me thinks he's going to go with Trevor Lawrence at 6. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that's, and here's the thing, we talk about reaching for quarterbacks. I think about, if we'd had a rookie draft the year Peyton Manning came out, how would I feel about reaching for Peyton Manning in the rookie draft at 6? How would I feel about drafting Andrew Luck at 6 in the rookie draft? I would have no problem with it. When you think about, this is coming from a position of privilege. When you have a great quarterback, an Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, you know how valuable they are. And so when you've got that spot, you don't have to worry about it, just lock it in. You might say, well, I can't believe we wasted that pick. We should have got Waddle over Trevor Lawrence. No, you make the right decision here. You buckle down. You get the generational guy, Trevor Lawrence, and you don't look back.
All right.
And not to tip my hand too much, but I kind of feel like the whole dynasty and fantasy football community has maybe gotten a little bit of fatigue because we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence literally for 24 months now. The last 12 months, he's been compared to Andrew Luck for the last 12 months. And I think everybody has just gotten so tired of hearing about how much of a generational talent he is that we're not hearing as much buzz about him now. And I think it's just because they hit that so hard for so long that everybody kind of got fatigue of talking about Trevor Lawrence and they've moved on to other people. But let's not forget that we've got we have 3 generational talents in this draft at their position with Pitts, Lawrence, and Chase. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Good point.
Throw that out there.
Number 7 pick with his first round pick in our league ever. Schmergen Destroyers are up at number 7. So Jarrett, take it away.
Yeah, Spurgeon, it's Brian here. Just looking it over, I think we've got Heisman winner Devonta Smith still. A great landing spot if Brian can scoop him up here. That's kind of where I'm leaning. What were your thoughts, Andrew?
Well, I would say Yeah, I would say that between Smith and Waddle, I think those two names feel like the last two of a tier. If I'm ranking my own draft board, it kind of feels like there's a tier after Smith and Waddle. That after Smith and Waddle, you've got some other great wide receivers, but there just feels like there's a tier after these two guys, and so I could see either of those two being his pick at 7. But yeah, I think Smith makes a lot of sense, and I have no reason to pick Waddle over Smith for him. So I think Smith makes all the sense in the world for Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good pick there for number 7. All right, so up at 8 is the New York Sack Exchange, Jerry Klein. Andrew and I are talking about Jerry Klein, and one thing I'll just say right at the bat, Jerry has been enjoying a lot of quiet numbers out of a guy named Jamison Crowder for a lot of years in this league, and so I just got to say he's going to pick up the clone of Jamison Crowder and Elijah Moore, the same position and the same team that he's had for all these years. Andrew, I don't know about you, but I've got him mocked to Elijah Moore, the wide receiver from the Jets right here. What are your thoughts on this pick?
I agree. I mean, obviously Jerry's a Jets fan, so maybe Jets homer. But that aside, Moore's. I think he's going to be a great player. I think if Jerry's tied between, say, Jalen Waddle and Elijah Moore, I think he'll go Moore just because of the fandom. He also has a significant need at tight end, but at this point, there's really no tight end that's first round value once you get past Kyle Pitts. So I think he's either going to go Waddle or Moore here. I would lean towards Elijah Moore.
Yeah, and I'll say something here about Elijah Moore. This draft class, the whole 2021 draft class, was notoriously for when they did their pro days, everybody came in soft. They came in slow. Nobody really ran some numbers. And a lot of these guys, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, they didn't weigh in, they didn't run, they didn't do anything this year. So when those numbers were coming around, and we got Devonta Smith of 4.540, and we started seeing these numbers come in, the one guy who was turning heads with numbers being better than anybody else was Elijah Moore. He was fast, he was quick, his 3-cone was great, but this guy did all the work and showed people that he's a stud. So, my people that say, well, pick Jalen Waddle this, Jalen Waddle that, and I don't think it's necessarily a homer pick. I think this is a guy who's proven it on the field. You see some of the guys who've come out of his school the last couple of years, DJ Metcalf, AJ Brown. We're talking about Ole Miss. These guys are producing wide receivers that are quality in the NFL. So I don't think it's a homer pick. I just think this is a solid pick with Elijah Moore at 8.
See, and one last point, I certainly agree with you there, because Jalen Waddle playing for Alabama with Smith, because Alabama was so good as a team, their receivers kind of get more hype, nationally than Mississippi receivers. But as you've seen, Mississippi receivers have done just as well, if not better, in the pros than these Bama receivers so far. So I'm with you.
Absolutely. I think that's a great pick. And that's not just a homer pick for you, Jerry. I like that pick there, no matter what.
Yep.
Okay, so pick number 9 is going to be the disorderly one. Moral conduct is up at number 9. And Andrew and Jared, you guys are going to discuss where you see him going with that pick number 9.
Okay. Jared, you can kind of get into this more, but I think with Jalen Waddle still on the board, I don't see that Jared has, that many other great options than to take Jalen Waddle here at 1-9. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I'd totally agree with that. Like I was saying with the pick at 7, that it feels like there's kind of a tier of wide receivers, that there's a tier after Waddle and Smith. And I feel like with him being the last of that tier and him still being here, that makes a whole lot of sense at 9. And he'd probably be thrilled to have Waddle here at 9.
I agree. I mean, Jared has some needs at receiver. I mean, I think most of us do. And I think a guy like Waddle does that, like you said, the last tier. I think we lock him in at 1-9.
I think that makes sense.
He's fast, man. I tell you what, his numbers at Alabama. I know that Devonta Smith like took the cake last year as far as stats. Waddle got hurt, but those numbers he put up before he got hurt were better than Devontae Smith.
Right.
People compare him to Tyreek Hill, man. He's a good player. All right, pick number 10, the final pick of our first round. Jared and I are going to discuss where Mahomes Simulator goes with pick number 10. And we don't necessarily have a whole lot of great options. This draft starts to thin out. We're right here. And I would say this would be a great spot to pick quarterback, but he got one already in our mock. So I think we're taking the quarterbacks out of the picture. Probably still a little too early for tight end. So we're looking at a couple of those secondary running backs, the Sermons, the Michael Carters, wide receivers, the Batemans, Mondale Moores, Terrence Marshalls. Jarrett, the last pick of the first round. Where do you think Mahomes is going to go with this pick?
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up for me. I mean, just looking, he is pretty thin on running backs right now. Like, I think Antonio Gibson is Jared's best guy. So I know he likes his running backs, but he also goes for more of the value picks. He picks them up later on, maybe like second, third, fourth rounders. I don't know if he goes running back here. I think probably wide receiver. We got Rondale Moore, Rashad Bateman, and Rashad Bateman would be a pretty solid pick just there with Glenn Oxley, Hollywood Brown. You can pick him up, get some production out of him this season, I think. So that's where I'm leaning. Rashad Bateman for Jared.
If I was taking this one to Vegas and putting a bet down on this one, I would say he trades back and out of this spot for sure. Just knowing my man Jared. But if he sticks with his pick, I agree. I think Bateman's probably the guy. That Minnesota class when they had Johnson and then they had Rashad Bateman and Tyler Johnson was like the cream of the crop in the NCAA. And then this Rashad Bateman kid came out outplayed him that season when they played the game. I gotta say I like Bateman a lot. And I know people are down in the landing spot here. But I gotta say, Lamar Jackson has not had a wide receiver quality Bateman ever in his career in the NFL. We're looking at a kid who reminds me of Stephon Diggs. He's got a little wiggle, a little shake and bake to his game, and I can see him really doing some damage. You got to stack the box against Baltimore. Somebody's open. Now you got a guy who's 6 foot, 200 pounds or close to it, running out there, getting open. So I got to say, I think Bateman is underrated, and I think the fantasy community really hasn't talked enough about this guy. So if he stays put, I really can see Jared going with Rashad Bateman out of Baltimore right.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. So, but I think that completes our draft. Just to recap for everybody. Money Ballers pick 1, Najee Harris, Bob Kittens at number 2, Kyle Pitts. Money Ballers again, Jamar Chase at 3, Bob Kittens, Travis Etienne, Stephon Diggs, Javonte Williams. Pick number 6, Mahomes play later. We're going Trevor Lawrence. Number 7, Schmerger Destroyers with Devontae Smith. New York Sack Exchange at 8, Elijah Moore. Disorderly Conduct at 9, going to Jalen Waddle. And then our final pick in the first round, Mahomes is going to go with Rashad Bateman. So here's your top 10 mock draft 2021 in the books.
Well done, guys.
Very good. Now, next week, you guys everybody's got to draft exactly like this, so we look really, really smart. Okay?
That's right.
It's just like this. So I imagine we probably knocked about 6 of these top 10 out the right spots. So.
And the other 4, we're definitely strongly convincing the other owners. Well, maybe I should reconsider who I thought I was going to take.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's remind everybody. I mean, the draft is next week, a week from today, at the DoubleTree, 1:00, correct?
1:00. Yep.
1:00, top floor of the DoubleTree.
Nobody works there anymore. Yeah, nobody works the DoubleTree anymore. So you're parking probably on the street. So I don't think anybody's going to validate your parking. One other thing I want to say is that there's people going to be up there on the 19th floor. They're having some kind of like Elks reunion. So when you get off the elevator, just head left. Tell them you're there to go to the 19th floor to the fantasy football draft, and somebody can direct you there. So
bring your snacks, bring your goodies. and we're gonna have a lot of fun next week.
Yep. And remember, we're trying to get everybody paid at or before the draft. I know we've got a couple guys who've already taken care of it, paid on PayPal. But we're trying to get everything. We bumped it to $60. That helps us pay for the room this year because they charge us $75 altogether for the room. So if you got a little extra cost on, please do. If you don't have it, we're going to take care of it anyway because that's where we like to draft.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, guys, I'm going to sign off. This was a fantastic time. I know we kind of struggled to get it together this year, but I'm really happy the four of us got together again. It's made me really smile. Makes the draft so much more fun.
Great. Absolutely.
So,
All
okay.
right, fellas.
Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you
See you in a
next
week.
Yeah.
See you next week.